I've decided to actually redo this video because the first one was quite bad quality. So here we are again. We're going to try and hopefully film with better quality. And please bear with me as I get back to the swing of things. But very quickly, today, it's early May. So a few days ago, I went and redid my budgeting for the month, which it's one of my favorite things, one of my favorite habits that I have and that I do. I wanted to share with you how I go about it, what my setup looks like. So as you see, this is my setup and my tracker that I use. So we have 3 different categories, which are fundamentals, fun, and the future you. I like the F's, so FFF, that's my name as well, Francesca. So there's a bit of a theme there. But the name of the game is, if you're familiar with the budgeting rule of 50, 30, 20, this is what this refers to. And the only difference is that normally people will tell you to invest 20% of your money and have 30% or so for your fun or your wants, basically. I personally prefer to switch it around. So I have 50% for my needs, 20% for my wants, and 30% for my investments. Just my preference. I think if you want to achieve financial independence and freedom earlier, sooner than later, then it makes sense to really invest as much as you can. And as you'll see, some months this goes well, some other months, if we scroll down, it doesn't go as well, right? So January was a month where a lot of fundamentals and fun money was spent and less for the future. But yeah, so as you'll see, at this point, by the end of the month, some of my expenses will already have been filled in because I like to go through it as I go, as the month goes by, basically. And every Sunday, normally I'll go into the spreadsheet and kind of tally in already the numbers that I have, because it gives me a sense of how I'm doing and how much more I want to spend, basically, in each category. But yeah, so at the end of the month, the bigger checkup happens. That though, so here we have my income. Now, my main 2 sources, sometimes it's 3 when I receive a bonus, but my main 2 sources are my 9 to 5, of course, and here I put the base, then hits my bank account, and then I also sum what goes into pension and my student loan repayment, because to me these are investments, basically, in a way. So I put them in there, and then I have it here. I know it's a bit of a roundabout way, but it just helps me keeping check with that as well. And then Florence rental. So I do have an Airbnb in Florence. I own 50% of it. So sometimes what that means is that sometimes the revenue from it that I get, my 50%, will not be enough to cover all of the mortgage, which is fine. I'm still building equity. I was lucky enough not to have to put down any cash for the house. So to me, I just have, the mortgage and I'm renting it out. And often the profits from the property are enough to cover all of the mortgage repayments. But enough of that. So here I have my total income, then that's what gets deducted. All the expenses get summed and deducted, and so that's my leftover money. So then what I'll do is I'll go to my Notion page, which again, Notion really basically runs my life in a way. And I will go to, I'm on May already, but I would go to April. And here are all my expenses that I've had during the month. And you see they're all tagged, and I've gotten into a very good habit of just I don't even think about it, as just record them as I go. And every little expense, even when I rented a lounge chair in Hyde Park, £4, I just got into the habit of just recording everything. So now it's really second nature to me. And I'll just very simply start filtering. So let's do, extra. So it was £34. Yeah, so I'd already inputted that in there. So that's all fine. Beauty and grooming, let's see if I've missed anything. 118. Yeah, that's all fine as well. I've already put it in there. Home, I know I haven't spent anything. Eating out, so that's normally one of the biggest categories always. So 155. Yeah, that's gone up since the last time. Great. Let me update that. Entertainment. So that would be anything like cinema tickets, drinks, what have you. In this case, I just put some random things. Yeah, okay, they're already in there as well. Health and fitness. Now, normally my gym would go here, but since I started salary sacrificing that, I don't put it. It just gets detracted from my salary, so I just don't put it. And I'll just have this random electrolytes that I bought for my trip in Southeast Asia. Transport. So now transport, I normally just record my, Ubers and Bolts. And then for the, for my TFLs, for my tube charges, I know roughly, like if I go every day into work for the whole month, I know how much that comes down to basically. So I like to kind of estimate that. So that's probably going to be like an extra £20, let's say, on top of what I have already. So let's put that. Personal development, that could be also like therapy sessions, things like these. Yeah, let's put it in there. And this one, I like to actually make it come out of future you expenses rather than fun expenses, because I see them as an investment in myself as well. So yeah, just personal preference. Travel. Nice. So you see travel was quite high. However, I'm going to take away 700 from this, because the 700 actually have come from my cash my cash ISA that I have. So it's not actually come from my checking account. So I'm not gonna budget that in, and I'm just gonna put 335 remaining that are actually from the other expenses that I paid directly, basically. Clothes. Let's see. Yeah, very high clothes months. I don't usually spend this much on clothes, but I was going to Southeast Asia, so I had to buy pretty much everything a Uniqlo that there ever was. Gifts, nothing. Very bad, but next month is gonna be better. Some birthdays coming up. And then groceries, 82. So that's normally higher, I have to say, but I was gone for 2.5 weeks, so that makes sense that I've spent less on groceries. And there we have it. Nice. So we have that all set up. So now the other thing that I'll do, and I've done it already in this case, but what I would then do is fill my yearly spending review. I like this page because it just gives me a good like snapshot overview of what's been happening, basically. So yeah, I would update the same numbers in this column as well, and then it gives me also a sense of inflows and outflows, basically. And am I staying within my budget? Not sure what happened in February. I spent lots in February, but that's all fine. But yeah, and it's also given me here in this column O, kind of like the sums for the year. And sometimes I also kind of, when I have an expense that I know is going to stay the same, I just drag it out, right? Because again, I know it's going to stay the same, and I kind of forecast how much I'm going to spend on that particular category. So for example, my subscriptions, which I can't find here actually. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. So I've already kind of dragged them out because I know that they're going to increase. I've actually added a few subscriptions, so I'm going to increase that and do the same for the year unless that changes. And this is pretty much it. So, well, very simply, to set me up for the next month, I would then do this. So I have here at the bottom a template that I use every month. And then, oh, that didn't go well. So let me drag it up. Yeah, perfect. There we go. So this is now going to be my May 2025 template. Well, actually, before I do that, let me recopy this. So I'll put it back at the bottom. So I have it for next month. And now I can go ahead and call it May 2025. Now, this contains some like ideal best case scenarios pending. I then go in and kind of like update it with real numbers. So in this case, let's take it out because I don't know yet what else pending. Fun. I can leave my mortgage payment the same, rent payment the same, kind of like the fixed things, I'll just leave the same. And yeah, and then I'm all set up for the month to come. So this is actually TBD. We don't know yet, so we can say TBD. Wait until 8, because that's when I get paid for my Florence house. And this is pretty much it. I hope this was useful. And I'm going to start recording now, and I'll be posting more videos. Let me know if you want any of these templates, any of perhaps my Notion pages, anything else. So I'm more than happy to share and leave in the comments below as well. I'll see you next time. Bye.